Oh, we are doing it live on a Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it is September. September morn, as the great Neil Diamond once sang. This is Pickup Lines, presented by Gamez Law Fights. And yes, I am excited today. I'm excited most every day, but today in particular because it's Friday, beginning of the month, and Sammy Garcia is on the program with us here. And I've got another great guest today, somebody that I've known for a little while, but I'm excited to get to know him better today and kind of dig deeper, if you will, on what he does. It's a unique line of work he's in. And hi, Leroy, welcome in. And then another thing that I like is, I've always said this over the years, when you get to I call them the burr months, September, October, November, December, that's when I get really excited. It's probably my favorite time of the year. I would say so. Those of you who are old enough remember Labor Day weekend and the Jerry Lewis Labor Day telethon. I grew up watching that, of course. Jerry Lewis has since passed away, but they don't do the telethon anymore. But as a kid, that was me. I mean, that was, and early in my TV career, I'll never forget, I got to host very early on in my TV days, in my 20s, in Victoria, got to host one of the local telethons, and I thought that was just the greatest thing ever. I was just so cool. I got to wear a tuxedo, and of course we were raising money to fight muscular dystrophy. But that was once upon a time. Anyway, we move on to the Friday pickup lines here, and a shout out to our sponsors. We already mentioned Gamez Law Firm, Gamez Law Fights, for 50 years now. Thank you. That family has been so great to me. Also, Mia's Mexican Grill in Helotes. It is Friday today. There are high school football games tonight. Maybe you want to mix in a little happy hour before you go to the ball game. The special there is gorditas today. And it's almost lunchtime. My stomach, as a matter of fact, was rumbling a short time ago. So they have the gorditas today. And then I know yesterday was Thursday, but I say this all the time. Every Thursday of the year at Mia's, veterans, military members get 25% off their meal with a valid military ID. And I think that's probably one of the bigger discounts around for military. 25% off every Thursday. Not just first Thursday of the month, every Thursday of the year. 52 Thursdays. 25% off at Mia's Mexican Grill. So thank you to Frank Salas for that and for his support of Pickup Lines. And to Rudy Esquivel as well, the owner of Rudy's Flooring and Remodeling. I am a repeat customer of his. And I just posted a video this week of a bathroom remodel he did. And some of you might be in a situation where you want to upgrade something in your house, maybe the bathroom or the kitchen or whatever it is. Call Rudy's Flooring and Remodeling there in Helotes and tell them Ernie sent you. Without further ado, let me unlock the door, right? I mean, I should unlock the door so the guests can come in. And I see you're bearing gifts. What is this?
I got you a drink right here.
Oh, you brought me a drink and a straw.
Yeah, of course.
So we should mention we're in Converse today.
Hey there.
This is GoFro.
Hey, y'all. Good morning.
I've never had this before. This is what Fizz.
Oh, you never had Fizz?
I've never had Fizz before.
Oh yeah. So super delicious. You have a Captain Jack Sparrow.
What?
Okay, so it's a mixture of Diet Pepsi.
Okay.
Coconut, pineapple, love, and actually the other ingredients in the
Jack Daniels. No Jack Daniels.
No, it's a little too early for that.
Pineapple and okay. Well.
Yeah. I have a very good Dr. from Fizz.
Do I?
Dr. Pepper, cream, coconut, vanilla, and strawberry.
Okay. Do I smell a potential sponsor? Maybe. We'll see.
Let's see.
But that's a perfect lead-in to what I was just telling.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers to you, man.
Yes.
I was just telling our guests that I'm excited to visit with you today because I've known you for a while, and I think what you do is fascinating, and that you've been able to make a living from it. So, essentially, and I know you do multiple things, but your specialty is social media influencer. Let me get the sun out of here.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Social media influencer.
These are quite reflective lenses right here. Just trying to get myself framed up right. Okay.
Do I need more room for the hair? Okay, hold on. Social media influencer. Mm-hmm. You do digital marketing and content creation.
Correct. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
That's
or to quote Austin Powers, help! This is me in a nutshell.
Just get me out of this nutshell. I just think it's great because I like to think that I'm a content creator. I mean, I suppose we're creating content right now.
You're an OG content creator.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Seriously.
I used to use Netscape Navigator back in the
day. Yes. I remember. And Ask
AOL.
Jeeves.
Yes.
Ask Jeeves.
You've got mail. But you do it currently. You've been doing it for as long as I've known you. But let's
get part of a decade at this point now.
We'll get back to that in a minute. Let's get the hair out of the way first right now.
Sure,
because
let's take it off.
People who
what it was a big reveal.
Wait a minute. People who follow you on social media or have seen you around town know you as GoFro. I'm assuming GoFro is not the legal name on your birth certificate. Yeah,
it actually is. No, I'm just kidding. No, Gerardo Hernandez is my government name.
Hernandez.
Most people call me Gerard if they can't roll their R's. Gerardo. Gerard, and then GoFro. GoFro came from, real quick.
Yeah,
let me show you how I got that. South by Southwest, near a decade ago, I wanted to document my time. And what better to document your time and most experiences at that point than with a GoPro camera? Right?
I remember the little, they're still around.
The little ones, but yeah, they're still around, of course. They've gone through several different iterations up to this point now.
I remember, sure.
But I strapped one to my forehead. That was like the GoPro Hero 2, I think, at that point. And I had the Fro, and GoFro. It just happened.
It markets itself.
It made itself, yeah. And then I brought it back here, back when there was only just like a handful of like bloggers.
Yes.
We were like blogging and vlogging.
Right.
At that time, influence had not been a thing yet, and then influence happened, and then now content creation is where we went into, and then of course I pivoted into social media management, which is what I really focus on. I have a handful of accounts, more than a handful of accounts around town, in food and beverage, hospitality. You name it, like retail. I just, basically anybody who struggles to have a digital voice, I'm like there to lend aid to that.
And that's what I love about you, because I mean, I've kind of dabbled in that kind of thing. Obviously, I had the news business and the news background and everything I did for so many years.
Sure.
But I would like to think there are plenty of people out there who might think they're an influencer or they think they do social media well, and then there are people like you who've been doing it really, like you said, a better part of a decade.
Sure. Yeah.
And without giving away too many of your secrets, I wonder if you would impart some knowledge. Like, what, for somebody out there who's wanting to do what you're doing,
sure,
what's the biggest misconception, and what's the biggest piece of advice you would offer to somebody who has a phone and wants to create content?
Well, the biggest piece of advice I could say for the second part is that you already have content currently in your phone. It's the beautiful thing of today's mass media market. You currently have content that's sitting in your gallery right now that you just need to put into the correct format. You just need to edit, chop it up, put on your favorite song, and you will gain traction like that. Put a strong message behind it. That's just to get you off, kind of launch you. You need to find your niche, right? Like, there's a couple of things that everybody needs to know. That's how to treat the algorithm well online. Find your niche, post consistently.
Yeah.
Hashtags are not dead, but just don't go crazy on them.
Well, because you said that, you were telling me about that the other day, that there's a fine line, because some people can go hashtag crazy sometimes.
Sure. I remember back in the day, I had a notepad full of whatever I was going to do. If I was going to have like a burger, if I was going to go have burgers or something,
right?
Then I would have a burger 30 block hashtag, and it was burgers, burger San Antonio burger, burger me, burger time, burger fun, and it was just burger overkill is what it was at that point.
Okay.
And yeah, you just dial it back. Kind of, you can put a couple of custom hashtags so people can just find you, but really just stay relevant. Don't do the ones that are. Don't be so general. Don't use general hashtags for sure.
Okay.
Like if you're a foodie and you're just now getting into food, don't do hashtag food, because that's got like
so many
billions of, and you're gonna be spammed so heavily at that point.
And that's the problem.
Sure.
You don't want that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with those posts. As soon as you post and it says DM us to promote, or
I am.
The next person who DMs me gets $5,000
right,
on
a Visa
Snapchat.
gift card or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitcoin or something like that.
Don't believe it. Fooled me twice.
yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, like I said, it's just fascinating stuff. And I got to know you over the years just going to events.
Sure.
But, I mean, let's face it, the internet is, I don't know, 30 years old-ish,
sure,
roughly?
a little bit,
Growing up as a young boy. Yeah, exactly. Growing up as a young boy. Did you grow up in San Antonio?
Yes, born and raised.
Okay. was this your path? Like, did you?
No.
I mean, what did you want to do?
So it was music education,
okay,
then information technology, and then social media and digital marketing.
Right.
So that's the path I took. The intended path was music education. I wanted to be a band director.
Like a high school band director.
High school band director, you know, just kind of emulate the people who helped me. You know, I was a band.
That would have been cool, man. On the football field, I could see you with your hair at halftime and everything, doing your thing.
Yeah,
with the drum major. Yeah, I could see it.
Come on, you're off step. You're off step. Come on, get with the program. We're never going to make finals with that kind of mess.
That's right.
So I don't know. That may be too aggressive. Maybe it's good that I didn't go about that. Then I got into IT, which at that point was more of a. It was the lucrative choice, and it was more of a. It's a digital trade at that point. Testing. I was doing like scripts and stuff, which basically it's like testing programs for faults.
Yeah.
And I was doing that for Citibank. And I was doing that for the better part of too long.
Yeah.
Until the monotony really got to me. I was in my office, and I had a good position there and whatnot. And I wanted to do more, and then goes to that South by that I decided to go and just kind of
South by Southwest.
South by Southwest.
With the GoPro camera.
With the GoPro camera. And you know, it was just such a eye-opening experience for me, just the talks that I sat in on and people talking about how social media was going to be and marketing was, you know, the next thing. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to jump on that wave. Let me do that.
And that was just 10 years ago?
Yeah, roughly. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe like 10 or 11.
No, but I mean, that's, in other words, because
I always gauge things like based on a decade, kind of. But I think I'm also, there's these memes that are really getting me. Oh, they're really getting me in the feels. There's something that says, no, it really says something like, why do people keep telling me happy 36th birthday? I was born in 1987, and I'm clearly 25. And I'm like, oh darn! Like, okay, those are like a little too close.
You start to do the math, and you realize,
like when people say 10 years ago, you're like, oh, the 90s, and then no, that's not that anymore. It's still in the 2000s at that point.
Y2K.
Y2K.
That was 23 years ago.
It's just really crazy how all of that has. It's a 360 now. Now I'm at the age where I can see the youth, the youngsters. You know, the younger part of my demo, they're emulating everything. Analog is amazing, so cassettes, Walkman, everything like that. I literally was at a party and like they had they were typewriting poetry, and I was like, where do you get the ink for these ribbons? You know how expensive that ink must be? They're probably making their own ink.
The whiteout and everything.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
But it is amazing how things come back. Because I talk to my kids. I have 3 teenagers, basically. And we talk all the time about... I was a pack rat. I probably still am to a certain degree. And I pulled out all of my digital toys from when I was growing up and as a young adult. So I still have Sony Walkman.
Nice.
I pulled out a Sony Discman.
Nice.
And if you remember what it was,
sure,
what it looked like. My son looked at it. He thought it was a kitchen scale to weigh stuff in a kitchen.
That's funny. It's the fat one, right?
Yeah, the fat
anti-skip,
one. Yeah,
anti-skip, 30-second.
You paid extra for
what
that.
does the seconds mean in that? I never understood what that meant. 30-second anti-skip, 20-second anti-skip. I don't know.
I believed it at the time.
At the time, I think I afforded between a really cheap version of the Walkman, or and anybody who knows these Kobe's, it was like the house brand.
Sure.
You know, so there was those Westinghouse. I remember it got really.
For sure.
So there was some really iffy brands out there
that probably came from across the Atlantic Ocean.
Sure.
And
their anti-skip was not fun.
No.
But I have one to this day that whenever I go visit my parents, I leave it there for a purpose. My mother got it at from a Mary Kay raffle or some sort like that.
Okay.
Like because my grandmother, rest in peace, she was a big time Mary Kay
cosmetics.
Yeah.
Yes.
She didn't have like the pink Cadillac or anything like that, but she had a lot of stuff. So, anyways, one of these things was this old Walkman from like probably one of the first Walkman. It was just the black matte plastic. It was before they were even, and it had the dials. It was just it's so fat, but you know what? It still works. And the weird thing is, it has an internal speaker of some sort. I don't know how they did this. You know what's crazy now? How do you have an album player, a record player?
A turntable.
I don't, because those are very popular.
No, I know we used to, but I don't think I have one right now. I have a boombox still with the dual cassette player and the CD on top and some of those things.
I gifted the Mrs. one. It has like an antique looking finish to it, and I got her like the whole Taylor Swift discography.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big fan of
on vinyl.
Yeah, on vinyl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like
nice.
the Target version ones and
Yeah.
stuff like that. She's probably watching right now, and she's like, "Lies, you didn't get the whole thing."
Lies.
Don't out me on the comments.
Lie. Yeah, exactly.
I got her between 1 to all of them. Okay, let's put that on the record.
Quite a catalog. So, by the way, GoFro would probably want me to remind you to share the video here, please, and
yes,
help
of course.
grow the audience. Am I doing this okay? I mean,
of course, yeah, and of course we got to put our handles in there. Like I didn't even mention at the GoFro this, GoFro that. You by the time you put the GOFR. The F really. You'll probably see my little pretty face at the top. Please give me a follow. On Instagram is one of my main platforms that I prefer to be on, of course, but it's for the whole board. You can find me on there.
Okay. So we're talking, this is Pickup Lines here, presented by Gamez Law Firm with Gerardo GoFro Hernandez.
I see Gamez Law Firm everywhere.
Yeah. They are everywhere. They're literally, they're in my car right here. This is the Gamez.
Oh, nice.
They gifted me the boxing glove here, so I can have, when I say Gamez
Shout
Law.
out to Gamez Law.
Fights.
They are. I think they had an office kind of by my parents' house.
They just moved recently.
They just moved. They were off of Fresno, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Now. But so this is. I was talking about GoFro, social media influencer, digital content creator, a man of many talents, and you've been all over San Antonio, the social scene in recent years. Is there a hidden gem or a place? I don't know, a hotel, a restaurant, a venue, a landmark that you've been to that you were like, man, I thought I knew this place, but this thing really blew me away.
Wow.
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
That is putting me on the spot because, San Antonio continues to wow me. And as we uncover new parts of town where people are like repurposing and refacing, old historic buildings and there's bones. For example, I took a trip to, speaking of a hotel, shout out to the Aiden Boutique Hotel downtown.
Yeah.
They just did a new reface, and I actually took like a private tour in their basement, which they still have yet to reveal to the public. But it used to be a speakeasy, like a prohibition style speakeasy, and there's like old murals on the wall that are preserved now. Like they've taken the time to preserve them, so hopefully nobody else touches them. But they're like. It's like a little bit of old school 20s graffiti-ish, if you will.
That's crazy.
But also like just prohibition, there's like gangster Al Capone-ish type stuff that was happening in this basement. It's interesting to see have that. It's right there by Sunset Station, so you know how historic that district is.
Yeah.
So yeah, stuff like that is really cool.
I've heard of different bars. People tell me I don't get out that much, but I've heard of different places. Well, the bar scene, but that they have secret passages or hidden doors or basements that you have to know somebody or you have to know a password to get into or something like that.
Yeah. For sure. Like there was Artie, right? Artie Speakeasy.
Yeah.
There's a green light. And then that's party time there. I don't want to give away too many secrets.
No, I don't want you to. Right?
But there is a password required.
Follow him on social media.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff around town. Underground dinners, stuff that it's like, renegade chefs that are just throwing something at a random place.
Those are the best.
That's the kind of stuff that you really want to, do. But of course, just local community events. We have a lot of cool events in town all the time, which we always run into.
Yeah.
A lot of them, like those. What was the last one? I was just at the Witty this past week for Cocktails and Culture. It was their final one of the series.
Okay.
Whiskey in the Wilderness.
Oh, cool.
It was an amazing turnout. But it was really cool because have you ever had Maverick whiskey or Maverick?
I have.
Yeah. So the cool thing, there's a real cool thing where the family who runs it is like the descendant. Samuel Maverick it's like his great. It's either his great or his great. But it's so crazy if you see an old mural of him and they're next to each other. Ken Maverick, Dr. Kenneth Maverick of the Maverick family.
Right.
They look. I mean, it's like how they say sometimes there's. I mean, I don't know, Ken. Are you a vampire or some sort of? I'm not sure, man. Something happened. There was some sort of blood pact that probably happened there because they look.
Spitting image.
It's a spitting image. It's crazy. That's very strong traits in that family for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah, and their building too is an old bank.
See, that's what I love. And there's so
I took
many
a tour of
places
their
like
distillery, and the basement where they have all their barrels is the vault. And you can when you walk, you see where the hinges, and they're actually redoing the vault door so that it can open and close at will instead of somebody getting locked in. But you see this foot thick, just hinge, and this a massive vault that was built a long time ago. It's so cool. You should definitely go if you haven't.
I know there have been books written about this, and I don't know, maybe we need to do like a podcast or something like that, where I'd love to take a camera and just go explore in some of these places, because you know they're there.
Have you been to the Alamo Antique Mall on Broadway, at the corner of Broadway and Travis?
No.
Shout out to Wendy. Sorry about the last name. Can't remember off the top of my head, but Alamo Antique Mall has been there forever. It's like that 3-story antique mall.
Okay.
Their basement, however, all of their, I hope this is not giving away too much, but all of the, because there was also Prohibition, there was a run there. They have like these giant vault doors that connect the basements of all 4 of these establishments, from the Alamo Antique Mall to Cowabunga Bar.
Out underground.
To that corner store that's right across from St. Anthony. And I believe there was like a thing that went to St. Anthony too, but it was like blown, they blew it in.
So the public cannot access that.
It's not like generally, but maybe we could
maybe
we
you
could
know
show
somebody.
It. Maybe we
know
could
somebody.
show it to the public.
I love it.
And then we could do some, underground San Antonio. One of the
create
coolest things I ever
create
did.
some content. Create some digital
which
content.
was not San Antonio based, but in Seattle, they literally have an underground city, because it was built. There was a city built on top of the other one, and you could take a tour, and it is so crazy. It's crazy to walk through an abandoned old city, and then you could hear traffic
underground.
And we have. San Antonio has stuff like that. It's not necessarily like back in the day. Here's another one fun. Here's another fun one.
Okay.
There's a tunnel that connects the Menger Hotel to the Crockett to the Alamo-ish, and then back, and then the Morgan. And there's a whole tunnel system. Yeah, there's a whole tunnel system, and then there's parts where you're walking. There's archways where it's just been bricked up and stuff. So you're wondering, like, can you imagine what happened and what these tunnels were used for during, when they were built? So it's really crazy.
Oh, now I want to go. I really want to go.
We should.
We need to figure this out.
I'm down.
Okay.
Instead of a GoPro now. Well, yeah.
No,
still do a GoPro.
Yeah. No,
I'll bring it back.
Get to go. Bring it out of retirement and everything. We'll take our
retirement.
phones and everything. Get some fascinating stuff down there. So and you were getting back to the San Antonio bar scene and everything.
Sure, yeah.
You feel like the city, because obviously it's growing, and a lot of people are moving over here. That the trajectory of the city, and I know there's talks about developing downtown with a new Spurs arena or a baseball park and those kinds of things. I mean, do you feel like it's kind of trending in the right direction?
I'm all about progress, right? For sure. You're always going to miss classic San Antonio. You're going to miss some stuff. I look at some places and I'm like, oh, I remember what that used to be.
Yeah.
I remember what that used to be. But, yeah, there's some really cool stuff.
So what side of town did you grow up on?
North Central. Like, right outside of downtown, but North Central.
Because everything has changed. I mean, you hear the stories all the time. Whatever side of town you're on, this used to be this.
Well, my father was a prominent West Side artist. He wasn't. He was born and raised in the West Side. His murals are still. I think they were like historically landmark things at the Casiano and Alessandra Pace courts.
Yeah.
And they're murals that put kids who were at risk and doing graffiti at the time in the 70s, like late 70s, and got them to cover it up with these beautiful Chicano and Pride, murals that are still up to this day, and some modern ones have come up. So I feel like I'm a little bit from every part of town,
Yeah.
But I've seen that change too. The West Side has changed as well too. You see, like, wow, I didn't think I'd see this in the West Side, and then like, it's there.
Yeah.
And then I go visit my parents, and I'm like, wow, like I saw they tore down like this little house on the third of an acre, and now they're building tall. Right, these tall, modern, slim, modern builds, and I'm like, wow, this is here now. It looks kind of like East Austin at this point.
Okay.
Which is good. I mean, it's good for property value. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope you own some houses here in San Antonio a while back, because in a couple of years, it's not going to be worth the investment, probably. But I'm just disclaimer, I'm no real estate, agent. This is not official.
No. It's just experience and observations. Our friend Adrienne Salinas is on here. She wants to go with us underground downtown. So
hey there, Adrienne.
We'll get Salinas to join us as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What could possibly go wrong? We'll just have a great time.
We should pick like a couple of these spots. Okay. And you know what's cool?
I like it.
We're coming across Halloween already.
Oh.
So it's the spooky season, anyways. It's writing itself is what's happening.
I get scared.
Then we just get an AI script developer on it, and we're good to go.
Oh, good to see.
How do you feel about AI?
You know, I mean, I think like most people, I think it's amazing, but I've seen like on the news reports of what can happen if it's not, just like anything, like the internet, right? It can be used for greatness and amazing things. It can also be used for terrible things.
Sure.
And, you know, the conversation comes up about, you know, replacing newscasters or people in the workplace, you know, is that where it's going to happen? But, I mean,
wow, I didn't even think about that. Industry specific.
But I mean, I think just like anything else, like it or not, it's here. It's probably here to stay, and you just have to evolve.
Yeah. You know, here's a scary concept, just so you can think about how easy it would be to what AI means in sort of my industry where I'm thinking about it. Basically, you could automate a social media persona. Like you could become an automatic influencer with 3 steps, right? There's 3 different websites that you utilize. I'm not going to give the websites here, right?
Okay.
But let's just say there's one in which you give it like 6 different angles of photos of your face,
of yourself,
and it's going to make a 3D rendering, or you're not necessarily face. Yeah, exactly. You could,
right?
Yeah, like it's going to do a 3D thing. Anyways, so it's going to make an avatar of you. That's one. That's easy. I'm sure you've heard of deep fakes, and they're just getting better. That's basically what you're creating there.
Okay.
The second one is just like a 2-stanza poem at this random website that you read. Once it hears that and records it, it has a it could reproduce your voice perfectly. You could have you singing anything in perfect pitch to just any script, which leads me to the third thing, which everybody's heard of, ChatGPT.
Yes.
So then you get ChatGPT on there, tell it to make a schedule for you and scripts. Feed it to the other ones. Maybe get a 4th AI involved, like an automatic scheduler. And then bada bing, bada boom, you sit back and then just, you know, have the AI reach out to different accounts to do promotions or whatever the heck. And then
is that where we're headed?
I feel, well, look, I was at Target. And I was walking by the makeup aisle, and I don't know which of the Maybellines or the L'Oreal, something like that. They're using an AI model. Like, I saw it, like, clear as day it was an AI model. Because it was...
Right.
It's like this kind of form. It's not... You can't tell... More or less what, you know, anything. So, I don't know if amorphous would be, like, the correct terminology. It's just like this kind of amalgam of what we think humans are. And different features of it. And the complexion was... It was, like, right in the middle. And the features and the... But it was so scientifically... Like, you could tell. And it was just something not lifelike. Where AI fails constantly is the eyes.
Okay.
If you ever look at like an AI image, like videos specifically, they get all cross-eyed.
Yeah.
And hands are weird too. Hands start to become spaghetti. AI is really weird about hands and eyes. That's where we're at right now. But in the next year or two, we should be fine. There's going to be an AI integrated car. There probably is already.
But do you think though that will jeopardize what you're doing it the old school way? I mean, doing the work, putting in the time. Will that impact your ability to do what you do?
Well, I feel like at that point, so I think that's why I kind of pivoted anyways into social media management.
Right.
Kind of seeing, you know, the trend and kind of like, seeing what's happening, you know, now. And rather than, you know, trying to get out at the last minute, you know, just, you know, management is a whole different thing. You know, at the end of the day, you still have to have somebody to push the button, even if we implemented AI into all of our ongoing, you know what I'm saying? Handling a multitude of accounts, it can become, you know, overwhelming at times.
And when you're talking...
the influence
side... Go ahead.
Yeah, and the influence side, for sure, I see that there's going to be automation. Just like there's automation at fast food, perhaps in your industry, like you said as well, too. They could definitely get an avatar. Can you imagine? They just find the perfect person. They get their headshots. They're like, okay, you got the spot. We need 3 anchors. Boom, boom, boom. They do your 3D scanning rendering. They tell you, hey, okay, can you read this poem? Okay, go ahead, go home. A lot of movie actors and stuff are doing that right now.
Extras and stuff in movies.
Yeah, but I mean, like a lot of VO work, they'll do it from home. They'll do it, and then now some studios already have a catalog of actors' voice and likeness in 3D renderings that they could use at whenever.
That is insane.
Which is going on constantly right now. And it's a part of their contracts too, and they're like not liking it.
yeah. Well, it's just fascinating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
it's the next.
Like it or not, it's coming.
It's like Twilight Zone. I love. Have you seen the meme where it's John Connor and he's like looking back on the
Terminator?
Yeah, and it just says, I hope is it John or Sean? It's John Connor, right? The little
John
boy.
Connor, yeah.
The boy's John. I'm sorry, guys.
No, John Connor.
I know the Terminator series, but for some reason,
No, it's okay.
I'm hearing it coming out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice, and it's like John.
John Connor?
Are you? Yeah, okay,
Yes.
John. So he's looking back on the bike, and it's like John Connor looking at us all being friends with AI, like because you can befriend AI now too. It's crazy, and I just love that meme. That's so funny because it's true. If you, it's like we saw the Matrix, we saw the Terminator, and we were like, roll the dice. Let's see what happens.
James Cameron had it right all along.
Yeah. Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's fascinating stuff, like I said. I mean, and I could keep going here, but it's just an insight. I don't want him to give everything away. So just follow GoFro on all the platforms. You can't miss him.
Yeah, for sure.
He's right there, and you'll see him around town at a social event or a happening place.
Yeah.
You'll be around, but it's just a fascinating visit, and I appreciate the beverage here.
Yeah, cheers.
Fizz here. We're in Converse
Shout out to Fizz.
another edition, I guess our first edition of Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm for the month of September. So any last parting advice to help me grow the audience and help this thing grow? What do I need to do?
We gotta go multi-platform, right?
Okay.
Facebook has a certain demo. The Meta Suite is like, Instagram has their own demo. You're already everybody loves Ernie, right? In fact, first of all, we're changing the title. We got to talk to Ray Romano and see if he'll let us.
Yeah, I'm sure he would go with that.
I'm sure he'll be like, "Hey, Deborah." Sorry, that's like a really bad.
Ray Romano. Okay.
Honestly, keep on trucking, doing what you're doing right now.
Consistency.
It's consistency is key. Frequency is key.
Yeah.
Let's go multi-platform with this. Hooking up with obviously, always having a guest, and cross-platforming with their network.
Right.
That's what you always want. Cross-promoting, should I say?
Yeah.
That's always key because I'm going to share the heck out of this, on my platforms,
All right.
And that's basically it.
Okay. So
and then we're going to pick up more people and sponsors coming along.
All right. There's a free tutorial for all of you out there trying to create content and those of you with kids or teenagers who want to grow their platforms and become YouTube or influencer stars and stuff like that. But great information, man. It's always good to see you.
As always, my
Soon
friend.
we'll go explore downtown underground.
Yes.
All right. Have a great Friday. Happy Labor Day weekend, by the way. You guys be safe, and we'll see you next week with another episode of Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm. See ya.